Hello everyone. Is the music okay compared to my voice, or is it too loud? Hello, hello, hi. If only I can find my pen. Oh, okay, there it is. So, hey everyone. Music slightly too loud. Yeah, I was expecting that to be the case. Okay, I think it should be okay now. Hopefully. I turned it down a bit. Powerful music, yeah. Hello, hello. Okay. So, I'm a bit confused with the new Twitch layout. Kind of feels a bit weird for me. Okay, there we go. Should be okay. I'm not sure, like, if I can do the sidebar smaller by default, or do I need to enter theater mode? Hey, I'm glad you like the things that I do. So we're back at it again, painting some Aurene, like grown up Aurene. I've been doing some more work on this on my personal stream, I think last week or something like that. Thanks for Gears for helping me out with the links and stuff. So yeah, I've been doing some of the progress on my channel. If you guys want to see that, you can, you know, go to my channel on Twitch, which is Marius Bota, and you can see like basically where I left off until almost this point. I did a bit off stream, but basically it's almost all there. So yeah, today obviously I'm gonna do more work, gonna start rendering, tightening things up, all that kind of stuff. I've been gathering ref today for pretty much everything that I need. I have some blue iguanas, like close-up of some blue iguana heads, eyes, some crystals, environment, like claws, you know, things like that. Oh, there's a claw that I have. Need to open those up. As per usual, if you're new to this, my name is Marius Bota, as I said. If you want to know anything about art in general, about what I do, like, it doesn't matter. If you want, you know, don't be shy, ask a question, and I'll do my best to answer it. On it up until now, as in I was painting on it, painting the image on my channel, but not today, last week. As in, you can see some of the progress that I did. Okay, so the things that I want to keep in mind going forward are bounced lighting, which in this case I'm gonna highlight just in case anyone wants to, like, you know, my thought process on this. So you can see a small amount of that going on here. Basically, this is actually bounced. This is the bounced color from the sand. So you have light, you know, basically hitting the sand here, you know, like that, and then it bounces up and it's hitting, you know, like the underneath side of the jaws and teeth and stuff like that, and it's gonna be a warm light. That's why we have the yellow here, and orangey, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And it's gonna be hitting basically you know, like teeth is gonna be hitting here, and then you're gonna have like a shadow part. You're gonna have a shadow part between the main light. That's the shadow parts, like this, and basically it's gonna be like, these are gonna be like darker areas. This is basically the transition between, you know, direct like lighting, which is this. You know, you have this is direct lighting, and then you have, you know, bounce lighting that's going on right here, and then you have like the shadows in between, which is very important to emphasize volume and things like that. So we're gonna have a lot of bounced color and lighting on the dragon. I'm not sure if I want to do that in this area, for example, because I think if I do it in that area, I will just pop the image too much. I mean, I will just pop that area too much, and I don't really want that, because it's like this area is not that important. But I for sure want to do it here and here on the, you know, on those claws. And I'm probably not gonna do it here as well. I'm just gonna try to keep it very vague. Maybe some of the warmth from this color is gonna hit here, as it's also already hits here, and it's gonna hit here on those crystal thingies. I'm gonna have some really cool reflections. I have a ref for that as well. Yeah, I have this crystal ref. So basically that's, I was really lucky to find this because it also has some of this yellow hue here, which I'm gonna use. It's gonna come into play with my image. Anyway, there was a lot of rambling. Hi Marius, which city in Romania are you from, and have you done any art in Romania? I'm from Arad, and I have done a bit of art for Romanian companies. But not much, to be honest, because I don't enjoy working with Romanians. They don't actually pay that well, so you know, and they're not that serious with how they pay their artists and things like that, you know. But I did work on Untold and Never Seen, all those two big music festivals, and like some private like small projects as well, but nothing really big in terms of like companies or like gaming companies or things like that. Some nice bounce light can bring the piece to life. Yeah, indeed. Gildy, I hope I answered your question about bounce lighting and color and all that. So yeah, okay, let's go. It's so hot, oh my god. No, actually, I can hear the music. It's pretty low. Okay, let's see. So my biggest concern now, well, not necessarily concern, but I don't really know how detailed I wanted the dragon to be. I haven't decided on how much I'm gonna push him, so not sure yet. And also, like, one thing that I want to keep in mind is I don't really wanna have him all the entire of the dragon this blue. I mean, it's basically like it's the same hue of blue, so I want to make sure going forward I change a bunch of that, because it doesn't really look natural. Lizards in real life are actually, they have a lot of variation, so I also want Aurene to have that. Gonna be looking better, that's for sure. So that's the plan for today. Gonna try to do as much as possible. Hello, Briggan, sorry. So I'm gonna do around the teeth. I'm gonna have the scales be darker a bit. So that's the plan. Initially, I planned to finish this before today's stream, but I couldn't. So I wanted to actually paint. If I was to finish this, I wanted to actually paint something based on the current patch about the Festival of the Four Winds, because I really like that. It would have been an environment, but I couldn't finish this, so I rather work on this and have it done. I got it right. Okay, so I also wanna make sure I kind of simulate the growth of those teeth a bit. I don't want them to be like a normal teeth. Like, you know, normal teeth have a tendency of being smooth and, you know, things like that. It's I kind of want to have that effect of, for example, if you guys are familiar with cat claws, they have a like a weird texture, and when they grow, it's like they have layers on top of each other, going towards the tip of the nail. And I kind of want to simulate that on the teeth, as well as on the claws, obviously, and on this nose. So that's what I'm gonna do for this. It's probably gonna be too much detail, but oh well. I really want to have those details in. Because they will look cool, I think. No one is forcing me to finish it on the stream. Well, I know, but it's... I just wanted to do it. And I'm not gonna finish it on stream, obviously, because there's plenty of work to do. But I'll do as much as I can, obviously. So I think there's... It kind of looks a bit off. I'm not sure if light would be hitting this tooth there. Actually, I think it does. Maybe I bring it actually forward. Or maybe not. Actually, I think I don't bring it forward. Maybe I actually keep it all in, or almost all in the shadows. Okay, so Have to remember to paint that membrane between the scales. Really don't want to leave that out. I could draw the Barza or the Barza one in the next hour. Maybe, but I don't think I would actually be able to go far in just 1 hour. So maybe the next stream, because I have another slot open towards the end of the month, so I'll probably keep that for that. Keep that idea for that time. Do it then. I think it's too late. I don't like that. I don't like how it looks. It's too much definition. Okay. But I mean, if you guys are interested in seeing how I would go about painting an environment, I can do a stream, a personal stream. So one of these days, and just paint that image there. Hey Vasberg. Since you have 3 cats, you're familiar. Yeah, I have 2. Two kitties. They're still babies. If I can leave my stream, sure, give me a second. This is my stream, my personal stream, I mean. If you guys are interested, I don't stream super often, but if you want to know when I stream, you can just follow me on Twitter. That's the best way. And if I do, it's almost all of the time at around this hour. And during weekdays. Don't really stream in the weekends, so. As you notice, I'm not really changing brushes. I paint almost all of my images with the same brush. It's only when I have to do texturing or very specific stuff I turn to some other brushes, but I really enjoyed this one a lot, so. Don't fall into that trap of thinking that, oh, I forgot to turn those down again. How do you do this? Okay, I think it should be okay now. Hey Yoho. Glad to see you made it. Not sure how to approach this big nose thingy that I gave her. I'm not sure how I want to texture it right now. If I want it to be like a bony structure or cover it in scales. I think it would make sense to have it be like a bony structure and have some sort of like texture like that. Like a bony texture. Maybe that would be nice. Also try not to zoom in too much, because if I zoom in then I'll most likely detail too much in that area, so I am trying to avoid that as much as possible. Also the sand will have a bit of a blue hue as well, because it would also bounce some blue from the dragon will bounce on him. I mean on the sand, so it's gonna be like a mix between, you know, blue and I think towards the edge of the shadow it's gonna be a bit more warm. I think that's how it should. I think that's how it would work in real life, if I understand the concept correctly. So I wanted to talk a bit about what can make your images look better without necessarily I mean better at your skill at a given point. So let's say, you know, today you're doing an illustration and it comes in a certain way, you are able to bring it to a finish that would look in a certain way. You could actually improve the quality of your paintings just by being able to address the correct questions. And what I mean by that is, whenever you're painting, I think it's really important to be able to ask yourself questions that will make you look for answers to them. Because if you're just painting, you're like, okay, no, I'm painting, you know, this dragon or this image, you know, you may not think about the bounce light, for example, or ambient occlusion, or like cast shadows, you know, things of that nature. And I think if you train yourself to constantly ask questions about this sort of things, that would automatically increase the quality of your art, if that makes any sense. I think it's like that's one of the things that I think people that are just learning, I think that's the breaking point of you being able to make a better image, and also understand that it, like, a good image usually requires time. For me, at least, that was the my breaking point into painting and illustrating. Was the moment I realized that in order to have a nice image, you actually need to invest a lot more time than you think. Because at the time when I started digital painting and illustrating, especially, there weren't so many resources like now. There weren't many streams. Was back in 2007, 2008, something like that, and streams were scarce. Like, you didn't really have people streaming. I mean, I don't think you actually had people streaming. It was, I think, Dave Raposa was the first people that at least I knew that was streaming back then. And besides that, you mostly just had like time lapses on YouTube, and those can be really deceiving. Those can give you the wrong impression as to how much a painting should last. Because when you look at the speed painting, you're thinking, oh, that's pretty fast, but you know it's a speed painting, but still in the back of your head you're expecting it to go way faster than it actually is. And I think as soon as you realize that you need to spend a lot more time on the image in order for it to be good, I think the better. But also you need to learn where it's time to call it quits on a specific image. You need to learn where enough is enough, and to learn that at a certain point you're not gonna make the image better but actually worse. That can happen, in my opinion. So yeah, patience is key. Asking the right questions is also key. It can make a lot of difference, even if let's say technically you're not that good yet. But those things can really help. But the hardest part is just learning what the questions are. And usually you find those by studying or by observing a lot, or looking at other people work. I hope that makes any sense. At least that's how I think about things. It's not necessarily like, I'm not saying like you should take this as it is, because I think people have different approaches. You should take it with a grain of salt, and maybe you find something that works maybe better for you. I don't know, but it's something that I think is important to keep in mind, at least in my case anyway. I think it's good to just basically look at a lot of people and cherry pick the things that you think are good and apply them to your work. I think that's a good philosophy. Never get into the habit of just following just one person or something like that, because it's not necessarily like the best thing you can do. Don't live in a bubble. Glad it does make sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't be a carbon copy of someone else. That's the worst thing you can do, I think. Unless you can do it better, but even then, it's like, you may just end up being, you know, copy of that person, and that's it. Why would someone want a copy of someone? They'll just go for the real deal, right? Oops, that's my phone. Forgot to make it silent. So tell us, how do you enjoy the Festival of the Four Winds? Well, I actually liked it a lot. I liked it a lot because I think I didn't play much when the Gauntlet was out. So I kind of missed that when it was originally out, and I always wanted to be able to play it because I kept on hearing people how great it was. So I was really happy to be able to take part in it and grind a few bosses, you know, all that. It was really nice. I liked it. I liked the map. The map. I actually managed to catch the map when it first came out, and I think it's probably one of the best looking maps Guild Wars has. I mean, let's face it. I think Guild Wars has probably the best art direction and the best maps in any MMOs. At least in my opinion, I don't know. And I've played a lot of MMOs, but so far, I think Guild Wars has the best. Actually, you've seen companies asking for someone to copy a big artist style because they didn't want to pay for the real deal. Yeah, it can happen. But I don't know. Like, I don't even know how I feel about that. Cause I mean, it's they should be able to ask, right? But you as an artist, I don't know how I would feel if they would ask, like someone asked me to, you know, it would be, oh, you know, we hired you for your skill, but can you paint like this person? I would find it a bit insulting in a way, because like if you want that person, just hire that person. Like, you know, it's why would you want me? Especially if I don't have his style. then it's even more, you know, worrying. Is why why would you even bother? It's like you have realistic things in your portfolio, but then someone comes and demands you to paint, I don't know, cartoony images or stylized or anime or who knows. Like, why would you do that? And it happens. It's so weird. A lot of that happens in art, where people come to you and, you know, they see the work you do, and I think I'm pretty consistent with the type of work that I show. I usually never show work that I don't wanna get, images that would get me work that I don't wanna get. So I don't really have sci-fi in my portfolio, even if I actually painted. I had a bunch of jobs like that, and you know, but I just, you know, don't show them because it's not the type of work that I want. I just want illustration and fantasy and, you know, dwarves and dragons and all that stuff. But even so, it's you just can't escape the curse. If Aurene looks like that, when she's fully grown, you'll be happy. Yeah, but I think she will look way more different. I mean, I could see Aurene actually looking like this in a bit of time, but I think she would look way different in the far future, if it gets there, right? Because I mean, I would imagine, for example, Morgemov, let's say, looking like more of a normal dragon than what he looked in Dragon's Den map. But as he grows, he evolves into like this, you know, other, like, different sort of like lizard or whatever. So I think this is probably what will happen to Aurene if it gets there. But I'm not sure it does get there. That's the thing. Or maybe, oh, actually, I can see it getting there. Because I don't think we're gonna be killing many more of those dragons. Unless... we find another way. Do you guys like the replacement theory that has been circling around? That Joko was implying in the last patch? How much time do I spend drawing? It depends. Can't really give a proper answer to that, to be honest. Depends on how much work I have. If I have to, it can go above 10 hours. If I don't, it can go under 10 hours. That's the beauty of being a freelance, I guess. You can basically pick how much you want to work, as long as you meet your deadlines. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. And I also like to have a life besides art. I think it's important. We just use Blish's teleport techniques and send the dragons to the human gods in their exile. Yeah, like I was thinking actually about that, about the fact that she ate. Spoiler alert! I'll give you guys 1 minute, like 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, it wasn't 20 seconds, but spoiler alert. After she ate Joko, I was thinking we should maybe we would actually see signs of undead on her, which would be actually pretty cool, I think. Because as of now, we obviously see signs of Calcatoric, which you know, the name that I just can't pronounce because I'm stupid like that. Yeah, so you can see, you know, the crystals and things like that. And I was actually considering making some undead references on her. I'm not sure what. It's not too late actually, but you know. She has Zaitan magic already. What do you mean, like you mean from Joko, or did she come in contact from someone else? Because I don't remember. Oh yeah, obviously. That's what I mean. Like, I'm actually. It's not late to do that. Maybe before it's done, I actually like find a proper way to display that. That would be pretty cool, I think, to just show a bit of undead. And I think I have a way of showing that. That's basically screams Joko and undead. Because I wouldn't want to go the Zaitan route with, you know, limbs coming out of Zaitan and things like that. I wouldn't want to do that, but I could use that tar effect that Joko has on his buildings and, you know, on him and things like that. I think that will look really cool. But it's definitely something to keep in mind, I think. Let's see, how much did I... Oh. If only Windows fixed this ridiculous bug with the tablets, that would be amazing. I think it's Windows' fault anyway, if not mistaken. Yeah, I see. Yeah, she probably already has the data expect. But yeah, it'll be... I'll think about it. I still have time to do something if I want to go that direction, so I'm not concerned. I think it could be pretty cool. Okay, I want those crystals. Let me see where the ref is. Give me my ref back. Okay. Want some of those crystals catching some light. What? They're basically catching two sources of light now. So the one from the staff and the main source of light that it's coming from from the left side. What are you doing in this project right now? What are you planning ahead to finish and stuff? Well, you mean if I plan to finish the image? Or, I'm a bit confused, I think. Well, I'm planning to finish this, and this is a grown Arene version that at least that's how I think she could look in the future when she's grown up. I hope that answered your question. She's still predominantly a lesser crystal dragon though. Yeah. How large is the canvas of the piece? I think it's 5,000 the largest size. Yeah, it is 5,000 the largest size at 300 DPI. That's basically how I work. I always have the largest size at 5,000. It helps a lot with being able to also sell a print if I want to. So. Biggest thing you're waiting is for her to talk. Yeah, actually, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that would be cool. Does it say somewhere how long they take until they reach that sort of maturity where they can actually talk? Is there somewhere in the lore how long it takes, or like no one knows? Guess this would be a good idea too. A good place to use this brush. Not liking that too much. I'm sorry, you're interested in the concept stage of drawings like this. I mean, how can you shape such epicness? Well, you can. There's a recording on this channel of how I started the piece. If you look in the history on the videos, you will find the last stream where I painted this, so you can basically see the process. And if you want to see also, yes, it is Aurin. And if you also want to see after I finish the sketch what I did on, you know, filling the color, you can watch that on my personal channel. And then, you know, this is like the third step, the continuation of that. So it's basically all available for you to watch on demand. And if you want something a bit more compressed, I also have a demo that you can get. You can I think you can find a link to it on my Twitch channel. Yeah, there you go. Gears shared it. It's not actually from zero. I had like just a basic, like a super simple idea of how the composition would look, and then I just started refining the drawing on the stream. But it should still be enough for you to understand. Brigand, yeah, weren't you the person that asked me for like some portfolio review a while back? I think it was you. I can't remember. No, it wasn't. Oh, it wasn't you. But yeah, I have a Discord. I haven't really. It's like there's only 2 people on it. I haven't advertised it too much because since I don't stream that often, like there's no. I think there's no actual point in doing it. Maybe if get a bit more serious than I am right now, I will advertise it more. But I mean, you know, if you want to go there, like feel free. Like the link is again on my personal channel. I don't mind if you want to ask me questions and you don't want to do it on stream. It's understandable. She got bigger after the feast. Yeah, indeed. Well, I'm also thankful that you guys are watching. And yeah, it's indeed really awesome that ArenaNet is showing so much support for the artists. I think it's really great, and I think more companies should actually do that. You just feel, you know, appreciated. Like you're, especially if you're a big fan. You know, I would love to be able to work on something that you know, on something for the game. To draw something, that would be amazing. But unfortunately, I can't really move into the studio. So if it would ever happen, you know, hopefully it can happen in the form of me doing something from my home. You know, like as a freelance, basically. That would be really awesome. But I enjoy doing it regardless. It's just a really good excuse to do some work for me. Must focus on cooking now. Yeah, best not screw up that food. Thanks for joining, by the way. I'm sure if you guys can hear my cats, they're playing. They're making some funny noises. I think one of them wants a hug. He wants attention. Oh no, he's playing with his mouse toy. So many things to paint. It feels like I'm not getting anywhere. It's so weird. I hate it. What is this? Sorcery. What? I don't want that. What? Okay, I got confused there for a moment as to what the spot needs to be. Using a bit of a smudge tool to get rid of unwanted brush strokes that can be still seen. It's a pretty good tool if used correctly. Can help clean things up pretty fast, but it also kind of needs to be used I mean, it will be it's good to not be overused, I think, because it can have that it can give you your image that smoky look, which is, ooh, a lot of the times you don't really want it everywhere. So yes, indeed, it is Aurene all grown up. Well, not entirely, but it is Aurene. So you still have the portal stone to our orange chamber, and she's still a baby. Yeah, well, you know, we're just basically going back in time. It's okay, don't worry about it. It's such that's the nature of MMOs. Like things like that will be there, and it's I don't think there will be an easy fix. By the way, I'm not a developer of the game, just so you know. It's just I'm just an artist, a partner. I'm just stating my own opinion, or I don't know. Don't take it as an official response, because it's not. Oh, was it Living Story? No, it was a. Was it? What was it? Was it HOT? No, I think it was Living Story. I think. Yeah, it's, you know, things like this happen in many MMOs. Timeline gets all blurry. I'm not sure what you can actually do about it, to be honest. Because you want to have that there for achievements, right? And I don't know. I really have no idea. I think it just can't be fixed. Unless you actually give the person the choice of, you know, say that moving forward in the story would mean that would be the last time you would see Aurene like that, there, basically. So, you know, okay, I don't want to move forward in the story before I, let's say, do all the achievements, or, I mean, that could be an option, but then again, it's not the best option, because then maybe you have people that don't want to, how I call it, that don't want to do achievements that are basically, or that want to do achievements but they don't want to do it at that point in time. It's so complicated. I think it's not really worth bothering with that. I think trying to remove that would just cause too many problems that it will probably make it not worth it. Hey Mocha. Does Guild Wars 2 use my art in game? Nope. I'm just a fan of the game. Not sure how much it would fit their style. I mean, maybe, but they have a really like established style when it comes to their art. Not sure how much I would fit in. It's their style tends to be way more stylized than mine. In terms of you know, at least when you see the loading screens and things like that, it's way more stylized. Like Ruangia, you know, his work is incredible. It's, oh my god, I love his concepts. Gridlock made by him. Oh my god, no, that's an illustration. I think also Rada Novus was made by him. That's also pretty nice illustration. Everything was a wild fast ride for you because of that. Yeah. Corkstar, I'm glad you like it. You'd love to see this picture as a loading screen. I don't know, make it a petition, I don't know. I don't think it would work as a loading screen. It would be maybe if the character was something else, maybe, but I don't know. Loading screen to where? To like Orion's layer, maybe. Maybe, yeah. Please add Orion finisher. What would it be like? What would it look like, the Orion finisher? Would there be a specific animation? Already needing the corpse of your enemy as a finisher. Yeah. That'll be funny. By the way, do you have gems to raffle? Yes, I think I do, yeah. Why do you ask? But I think I'm gonna do it as on Twitter maybe, but why do you ask? Anyway, let me know. Dude, amazing talent you have. Is there a way of a way you can make a living out of this? And if yes, how? Of course there is. You can basically do what I do. I'm a freelance artist. I paint for video games. Yeah, you can. You can make a pretty good living out of it, actually. All you need is Photoshop and a tablet. And time. And the willing and the pleasure to draw. I mean, obviously you need to enjoy it first before you actually start. I really don't believe in talent. I think talent doesn't really exist. That's my opinion about it. I think talent is just you enjoying a specific thing enough that you practice it so much that you're actually good at it. I think that's what talent is. I don't think there's this mystical power that you are born with. No, it's not that. It's for me at least, it's pretty, not that it bothers me, but it can be a bit bothersome because it kind of, a lot of the times it kind of devalues you as a person, no matter what you do, even if you're not necessarily a painter. And people say, oh, come and say you're so talented, but it's like, do you know how much I work to get here? Not to say that I'm bothered by you saying that, don't get me wrong. I don't mind. I know that people don't have how I call it, mean intentions when they say that. They have only good intentions, but it's like, for the way I view things, is a bit not bothering me, but it just, you know, it's like, I just don't believe in talent, just to put it shortly. You just copy what you see, and it's not 100% as it what I copy, but how many years would it take me to do something this awesome? It's, I don't think it really takes that much time to get good in art, not anymore, because you have so many resources. It's hard for me, it's basically impossible for me to give you a specific time frame, just because I'm not sure how disciplined you can be. It all depends on how much work you put in. If you're the sort of person that doesn't really, I mean, that would sit down, you know, a lot of hours a day, basically like treat it like a full-time job, you know, 8 hours a day, you know, 5 days a week, or, you know, something ridiculous like that, or maybe even more, like some people do, then yeah, you can actually become very good very fast. I've seen people getting from basically zero to professional in, I don't know, like 2 years or something like that, technically speaking. So it's, you know, it can be done, but it all depends on you, how much you're willing to sacrifice to achieve your dream. That's all it boils down to. Are you willing to, you know, to sacrifice going out drinking with your friends, or like just screwing around all day for a chance to have you know, career in this? You know, then, you know, do it. Freelance is really weird. in that aspect, because it's not like other jobs. It's you don't, or I mean, you don't necessarily need to be freelance, but if you do, then it's, you can also, I mean, you can also be in a studio, but if you do decide to be freelance then, or self-taught, then it's really weird. Like it's not like any other job where you just go there, you spend like what, you have training for 2 weeks, you learn basically everything there is to know, and you know that, you know, it's done. You, in painting, you never stop learning. You never say, okay, I'm done, I'm good, you know, I don't need to learn anything else. I mean, if you do that, then it's you're probably not gonna be doing that well. Unfortunately, that's how it works. You always need to be improving and look for feedback to get better. Talent is just pursued interest. Yeah, exactly. Predisposition? I wouldn't say it's predisposition. Maybe, I don't know. It's just you're just enjoy doing that thing. And I think we as humans are generally very creative. When we are kids, we're really creative, but we have the tendency of being educated out of it by schools and just society in general, which is you know, a shame. Society expects you to be a boss, or you know, have this important job, you know, or but you know, nothing wrong with being a policeman or a firefighter or a carpenter, or you know. Let's see, what did I miss in the chat? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talent implies you were born with it and you don't have to work for it. Exactly, yeah. That's exactly true. That's basically what it is. Like how people look at it. And it's not necessarily their fault. It's just they don't, I just think it's because people don't see artists study. It's, I think they just see, you know, when you see an artist drawing, even if they study, you know, for an outsider's, oh, he's just drawing. Even if you say, oh, I'm studying, it's you have to stay there and explain like half an hour what studying an art is. Just to be able to make them comprehend what you're doing. It's because nowadays you're measured with what you contribute to the society and not yourself. Well, artists do actually contribute a lot to society these days. Let's face it. If it wasn't for art, you would not have many of the things you have right now. Starting from normal objects to entertainment. Like entertainment would not exist. Like no movie would exist without artists. Or at least a vast majority. Like every movie has an artist, or storyboards need to be done. Concepts need to be made. Oh, I need to make sure. Okay. Make sure the music doesn't jump to something that's unlicensed. Okay. I'm enjoying this sort of talk with people. I'm glad when you guys are pitching in. I think it's important that as many, you know, a lot of people, as many people that are aware to this, you know, the better, I think, to this sort of things. Because I really feel like art is generally a field that is not very well understood by the masses. I think it's getting better, but it still has quite a way to go. You need this as a wallpaper? Well, you can follow me on Twitter, and when it's done, I'm gonna post links to higher resolution images. I mean versions of this, so you can have it as a wallpaper if you want. Usually it also gets tweeted by ArenaNet. When, for example, I think if I'm doing the on my next stream, this would probably be used as, you know, a way of announcing that I stream. Maybe usually that's what I do. So. It's either current image that I'm working on or like some older one. So, just in case you forget. Oh, shiny. So my biggest struggle recently when it comes to what I do is finding the right balance when it comes to how saturated my images are. I'm in a constant conflict with myself on how saturated my images are. It's like a constant debate that I have in my mind of how I actually want my art to look. I actually just can't decide. It's been the longest battle of my career. Is that and the amount of details that I want to put in my images. Been fighting this monster for a long time. It's so weird, like it's... You would think, oh, you know, been doing this for how long? Since 2004 basically started drawing and painting and things like that. But, you know, professionally since for about, what, 8 years? 9 years almost. You would think, oh, you have this figured out. Well, no. Because, you know, that would be nice and easy. Let's just put some, let's just complicate things. But I gotta say, this is basically, it's gonna be as hard as you want it to be. Which can, I think it can sound really weird when I put it like that, but if you're always looking to improve and you're very critical of your art, and I kind of tend to be like that, like I don't really enjoy what I do. I enjoy what I do until I finish the image and I post it online, and then I hate it so much, and then I just look forward to the next image. I look at it, see what I don't like, and try to improve on it. But I think it can be healthy, and that sort of mentality is good. It's good as long as you can keep it in control. You don't do it over, don't like basically do it until the point you know, before the, just don't, you know, get demoralized basically. Just don't, you can do it until the point where you're basically almost discouraged, but then, you know, take a step back, you know, say, hey, you know, I'm good, I'm doing good, you know, I'm improving. No point in taking it further. Is that not part of your style, the saturation? I mean, it has its place, its places in my art, but it's just a conflict that I have with my work. I'm not yet sure if I want to be, you know, I'm not yet sure how I want to be. Mostly if I like desaturated or saturated more. Because sometimes I feel like, oh, you know, like color is nice. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want darkness and grittiness. Yeah, art journey never ends, indeed. You've never met an artist that wasn't critical of their own work? Oh, You haven't met enough, that means. There's plenty. Don't worry about it. And it's pretty sad when that happens. Let's put it that way. It's not healthy for them, or sometimes even sometimes it can affect others as well. There's a name for that. It's called a dilettante. I make fun of myself that way sometimes when I'm enjoying my art too much. I say I'm a dilettante, because that's basically what it means. To always be, to be satisfied with your work, regardless if it looks good or bad. You just, oh, I'm so great, look at me. It's funny and dangerous at the same time. To be in that situation. So yeah, I'd never be there. You hope to be as good as me one day. Well, you can be even better, just do it. Just do it enough and you can even become better than me. That would be great. Make your dreams come true. So while you're sitting here watching the stream, we should be drawing. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Why are you wasting time on my stream? Go back to work. So I'm pretty happy with this zone. I did a bit of color variation here. I didn't want her to be blue everywhere, as I said at the beginning of the stream. I wanted her to show that she's getting mature and a bit older in a way. And older means, you're gonna get a bit desaturated, which works pretty good in my favor, right? Right, guys? Since we talked about that. There we go. I found a solution to my problem. She's old, so I can desaturate her pretty hard. You're drawing. You have no patience to draw. Also, you're on a lunch break. Yeah, being patience is one of those things that you need to learn to have. I think not having patience may also you know, bring some questions as to how much you enjoy doing it. But I know that that can also come with time. And especially at the beginning, it's the learning experience with art can be really frustrating because you don't really have many successes. Let's be honest. Can be really discouraging, especially if you don't have someone to keep your enthusiasm up, you know. I think it's important to have some sort of like person, let's say like a kind of a mentor, maybe not necessarily that, but someone that can you know, give you some feedback, but also keep you motivated to keep working, you know, things like that. I think it's really important to have someone like that. It can make a lot of difference. Having someone that can basically do that for you. Can be a friend, can be, you know, another artist. Just as long as there is someone that can do that. So what I'm trying also to do is whenever I have you know, for example, this skin is wrapping the teeth, the tooth, the tusk. You know, obviously this part would be in shadow, but you never really want to use dark to give it a shadow. You always want to use color to make, I mean, not necessarily always, but you want to try to avoid that, especially in those sort of places. I think it just looks better if you just use color to imply that shadow. Oh, kitty, you scratched me. To imply that there's a shadow there. Because again, you would also have bounce light from the tusk to that area, so it wouldn't really make sense a lot of the times to have dark. Also, black and white are really hard to control mediums for beginner artists. Usually in schools, people, I mean, teachers kind of basically restrict you from using black and white because beginning artists are not capable of controlling black and white, like pure black and pure whites. Also in nature they don't really exist as colors, you know, as pure as, you know, you know, select white and, you know, this doesn't really exist in nature, or you know, or this, you know, this, it may appear that it is like that, but it's not. And it's generally like people kind of like, at least teacher kind of tend to agree that, and like artists tend to agree, at least like the circles that I'm in, that, you know, dark and white in that sort of form, you know, it's probably not the best idea to be used. But you can, as long as you understand it and, I don't know, you studied enough, basically. I try to stay away from it, and I only use it in areas where, for example, like two surfaces meet, and they're really close to each other. For example, like when you have folds in clothing, if it's one fold near another, you know, that point where they touch, you may have one of those really dark spots. You can use basically black there, or, you know, white, you know, on this you know, flicker of light on the eye, you know, I can use that. But even in my case, it's not really pure white. As you can see, it's, you know, it's almost, it's a bit warm, because yeah, it would be like that. Let's catch up with the chat. Can you do this with a non-screen tablet? No screen tablet? Well, not sure what you mean by this, but if you mean, I'm not using a Cintiq, if that's what you mean. I'm using a regular Wacom tablet, an Intuos 4. But if you mean if I can traditionally paint this, I think yes. Usually skills kind of translate if you're able to paint digitally, you will be able to paint traditionally. The problem is a bit the medium. You will probably need to be accustomed to how I call it, to be accustomed to the medium, to how paints react. You need to learn how to mix paints to get a certain color. You need to, let's say for example, understand that to make a color brighter, you don't necessarily need to put white in it, or if you want to make it dark, you don't necessarily put black in it. You brighten colors and darken colors by using other colors. You get a better effect that way. If you're using oil colors, that you need to be aware of mudding the colors. That's a bad thing that happens, and it's something that takes a lot of time to learn how to master. But yeah, I think I am capable of doing this, definitely, just because I also have training in traditional art. I didn't really paint in oils, but I painted in acrylic in school. But not that much. I'm actually more of a sculptor and a modeler in clay than anything, because that's what I focused for 6 years in my school. That was the bulk of my focus, and then there's some painting and drawing on the side, but I would say painting, like everything that I know from painting, that I know now in regards to painting, I learned by myself, because I didn't really learn much in school. The thing that I learned most in school was drawing, and even that I think was pretty mediocre. But and I think I have a bit of benefit from studying modeling and sculpture, basically, because I like to, at least to believe that I have a better understanding of form. I don't think I draw it necessarily that well, but I think I can understand it enough so that I can at least put really good shadows on surfaces, and understand how far things are from one another, so how so I can like basically put a cast shadow where it actually needs to be. I think that's one of the things that I really picked up from. If I were to, like, I don't know, like give myself a strength, but I don't think it's really that that big of a deal. I would say I'm mostly self-taught. Mars, you said you were a freelancer mostly for video games. What about fantasy books? Have you ever done any illustration for books as a job, or maybe for fun? I have a few books, not many though, and mostly I think I did mostly at the beginning of my career. Actually, I can't even remember what my last one was, but I do have a few books that I made. But it's nothing really that good, actually, in terms of topics. I don't think I have any fantasy ones. Can't really remember right now. I would say no to fantasy. I have something with a deer in it, but I wouldn't really say that's fantasy. Just a deer and a kid dying near the deer, and it's painted in the most ridiculous aspect ratio. Because I misunderstood the brief basically, and the client didn't say anything because he didn't know better. So that was pretty bad. But yeah, I would actually like to do book covers. I just basically need to get around to like do some portfolio pieces just for that, because you know, I may have a good portfolio for some fantasy studios maybe, but I don't think I have a good portfolio for book covers. So you know, you need to, whenever you're trying to apply for a job, you basically need to have a portfolio for that job. I mean that's just the best way to go about it. Them lunch is over. Thanks for the streams. Yeah, thanks for joining. Hope you liked it. Catch you some other time, I hope. What makes book covers different from your current work? Well, it can be subject. Book covers, you know, fantasy book covers are I would say they're a bit rare, but you need it's just I feel like they are a bit more artistical in a way. They need to be striking, but not necessarily, you know, you don't necessarily need them. You don't necessarily need to have a scene. You just need to find a way to portray that story so that the book looks interesting without people knowing what it is about. If that it's really, I think it's really hard to explain. Yeah, it's very complicated, at least for me, like the way I look at it. Hence why I really don't have that many jobs regarding book covers. Hey Georgia, nice seeing you. Just in time for the ending of the stream. Portray the soul of the book without foreshadowing details in the cover. Not necessarily. I mean, you can do that. It's not a problem. But really good book covers, I feel, have a very interesting way of illustrating the book, like what it is in the book, or it's like it kind of intrigues you. It just shows like the mood of the book without, you know, actually showing anything. I don't know. I'm lost. I don't know about you guys, but I'm lost. I know what I'm saying. Better late than never, yeah, right, George? Georgia. Calling you George now. George of the Jungle. Did I actually do anything today, huh? Curious George. Okay, 5 more minutes to go. You didn't know any of my work before the stream, but funny, very pleasant to listen to. Well, I'm glad pleasing to listen to. I think I have a really boring voice. I don't like my voice. I think it's too monotone. But I'm glad you guys you enjoy it. I don't know. Thanks for the kind remarks. You're too kind. There's so many good artists out there. It's hard to imagine how anyone could actually be, you know, have an ego about it. Like, whew. I just go on ArtStation. You know, first 10 images are, you know, better than what I do. So it's really hard to have an ego. Oh boy. Just go on ArtStation to get depressed. How many years it would take to get to my level? Well, I mentioned it before in the stream, but it all depends on you. It's hard to say. Kind of feel like I mean, I could have been. It's weird to say. If I say I could have been better, it's kind of weird because better would mean what? Like better would mean more details. Like I'm not sure what better would mean would be in my case. But yeah, obviously I could be better if maybe I worked even harder than I did. Because there would be a lot of room for the improvement in that respect. But I don't know. It really depends on you. It's impossible for me to give an answer, to be honest. Yeah, ArtStation front page is both inspiring and depressing at the same time. Indeed. Well, anyway, guys, this is what I did today. Let's besides the character, I didn't touch on the character at all, sadly. I just did the dragon because I think most of the people just want to see the dragon come to life. So this is what we had. This is what I did. So I think it's a decent amount of progress, considering I've been also keeping an eye on chat. But if you want to know when I go live, you know, make sure to follow me on Twitter. You can follow more of my work on ArtStation. There's my website, which is marsbota.com, Instagram. You can find all of those links on my personal channel here on Twitch, which is marsbota as well. I have a demo on Gumroad that you guys can get and watch if you wanna see me talking about my thought process when I paint an image start to finish. It's time lapse, I think 40 minutes in length. I think it's good value. It's not, doesn't really cost much if you guys want. What else is there? Buy the game, play the game. It's a really cool game, help support the community and the developers so that we can all get more, you know, buy gems, get those mount skins. No one's paying me to do this, but you know, I just enjoy the game and yeah, it's really cool. And I hope you guys had a really good time. hope it was informative. Hope we all learned something today. And I think that'll be all for now. Thanks a bunch. Keep an eye out on my Twitter. I will be doing I think I will be doing a pretty large giveaway of gems when I finish this. So if you want, just follow me there. And I'll see you later this month when I'll be doing another stream. See ya and bye. Good night.